Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining another webinar as part of our educational series on various concepts. In one of the previous sessions, right around last month, we discussed about power of technical analysis. We discussed about moving averages, right? How we can use moving averages to do better trades, right? One of the common mistakes many traders do is entering at wrong time or entering too late or exiting too early because we do it as a gamble instead of doing with a proper knowledge or using a methodology, using a strategy. We just enter and exit, uh, yeah, right, just like a gamble. But by learning these various strategies, by understanding more, we can be right more on the profit side again, right? If not 100%, if we can be on 60%, 70% success, right? Because there are always external factors which might we right where the technical analysis may not work because of that news or something, but still 70-80% of the times we know that these strategies do work. So that's what, right, that learning gives us more probability to make successful trades. So with that, it's all yours today.
Thank you, Kishore. Hi, everyone. So, as part of our initiative to provide small tidbits of technical analysis to help the community, today's session is going to be on Ichimoku Cloud. I'm sure some of you would have already heard about it or might be already using it, but we'll do a deep dive into that one. Okay, so there are a lot of technical studies that you could use and which are really helpful to understand them. So just at a very high level, some of the technical analysis indicators that you could use is like these are basic indicators, whereas some chart patterns and drawings, there are some advanced drawings that you could use to predict where the price goes. And these technical studies, there are hundreds of them, but these are some things that I like most. And out of this, Ichimoku is the second one that typically I discuss in my technical analysis training. And then there are some advanced concepts on how to screen for stocks based on everything that you learn in these sessions. So, okay, so this is like a 4 weeks series where I'll be doing a deep dive. So today's session is an extract of one of these sessions that happens in S3, which is technical studies. Okay, so let's get started and do a deep dive into Ichimoku. So because just to justify the theme of it, right, I'll not be going into any other things than Ichimoku Cloud. So this is how it looks, just to introduce what we're talking about. Okay, so we'll do a deep dive and then probably go home with some techniques to use with Ichimoku Cloud. Okay, so the way I like to teach any of the indicators is by building it from scratch. Okay, so let me go there and let me take market as such. And let's go and create a new drawing set. So I want it to be empty, right? So for example, here, when you're looking at it, a price is moving randomly, and you don't know why it is moving. For example, Square today suddenly had a big move, and there might be a reason why, right? So when you are looking at these kind of empty charts, you don't know exactly why it rallied, okay? But when you add steady like Ichimoku, there is some pattern there, right? What happened now? There was this cloud and Square started moving above the cloud.
But
Okay.
I think you're not sharing your screen now. We are missing your share.
Oh, thanks, Kishore. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no
Um,
issues.
okay. Okay.
Maybe you can start again, or
Yeah. Okay. I'll start again. Let me start again. So what I was showing you guys was that this Ichimoku that we are discussing today is part of a course which is 4 parts. Typically, this can be covered on 4 weekends, and each course goes on for close to 4 hours plus question and answer session. So when you talk about this, there are a lot of studies that you could use technical analysis wise. These are some basic fundamental things that everyone should know before we start trading stocks. And these will be very, very helpful to prevent that wrong exit and wrong entry, right? So in addition to that, in the sessions too, we'll focus more on drawings and patterns and Fibonacci ratios extensions to find out the target prices or support or resistances, right? And in the session 3, where we discuss about studies, and there are hundreds of studies that you could use in Thinkorswim or any other platform, but these are of my favorite studies, and Ichimoku is one of them. So today we'll be doing a deep dive into that Ichimoku here, and then in the fourth session, whatever we learn in session 1, 2, 3, we'll be using that to create some scanners, screeners. In addition to that, we also be looking in taking a deep dive onto how to understand the market, whether it is overbought, oversold, so that all these will help you guys. Okay, so let's do a deep dive into Ichimoku here, study today, and for sure you'll take home some of the learnings. Okay, so what I was mentioning was when you look at a market as such without anything on it, it just like price probably goes up and down without any reason, right? And you might think it goes up, but it goes down here, right? So when we go, you think it might go up, but it goes down, and if you think that it will go further down, but it goes up, right? So it's very unpredictable. So having a blank screen is like shooting blindfolded. You don't know exactly what where you're aiming at, and you don't have any edge, right? So a good way to have edge is to learn these technical indicators and stuff. Okay, so one example that I was showing was Square. It was a very decent move to upside, correct, today, but it feels as if it happens from nowhere. But when we hover Ichimoku on top of it, the cloud, what happened in Square was today it crossed above the cloud. Okay, it broke above the cloud. From the bottom, the cloud, it's going higher above the cloud. So we'll understand what it means and um, how important it is for it to move above the cloud, right? So another example is BBY. What happened to Best Buy today? There are no earnings, probably there are no news, but something happened, right? A very big move bar. But how this is significantly different from the previous such bar is it is making a move above the cloud. Okay. So this will become very significantly important and stuff. Okay. So that is one example. Other things that are breaking above the cloud are, say, Google. It's trying to move above the cloud. Semiconductors, it kind of breaking above the cloud. So here's what I found on the web. Oh, my Google catched it when I said Google. Okay, so it's breaking above, right? So let's understand and a little bit on what the cloud is, and the best way that I do is to create that indicator step by step. So let me go and switch off everything. Okay, let's start with this Tenkan. Okay. So what you see on this curve, the plotted, this is actually a Japanese indicator, and that's why you see the names a little bit in Japanese. So this is called for easy understanding, it's called a faster moving average. Okay, so as the price goes up, it catches up quite a bit. This is a 9-period moving average. Okay, and when you go and look at the Ichimoku indicator, you'll see two values there. One is 9 and 26. So the shorter moving average is 9 period. The slower moving average is 26 period. Okay. So there is a significance on when price crosses this average line, like it moves below, it turns negative, it moves above, it turns positive. Okay, that is the significance of this average. Okay, so the second thing is that I would like to see is the 26 period average. Let's go and add that. That is Kijun. So this is a slow moving average, and that you're seeing across, and there will be a significance on when this price moves below this slow moving average or above the slow moving average. Okay, let me do that. Like we are looking at slow moving average, and there is significance on when it moves below or when it kind of hits that as a support. Sometimes it acts as a resistance. There are a lot of decision making happening against that one, right? So we have those two, and why I'm discussing this, typically I don't use these two specifically. I actually use more the cloud. Okay, so what happening here is this 9-period average is a midpoint of the previous 9 days range. Okay, so what it means is, for example, if I go and draw a rectangle from this period, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is the range, and this average is the midpoint of this entire range. Okay, that's what it means. So now that is interesting because you are trying to smoothen out a lot of volatility that happened in the last 9 periods and derive a average that works best, which is the midpoint of that range. We are taking the average of all these values. Okay, whereas the red curve is taking the midpoint of 26 period high and low. Okay, what it means is instead of taking 9, you're talking about that kind of range. Okay, so as you can see, I think maybe that up to that level, you can see that it's a mid of that value, right? So the red curve. So you're taking 26 period long term and 9 period short term ranges, whatever the range is, and taking the midpoint of those, which is a very good indicator per se on estimating a good average price, what happened in the last 9 days or 26 days. Okay. So now the significance of these two is to form the cloud. How do they form the cloud? Okay, so they form the cloud by projecting these two into the future. What does it mean? So typically when we look at any traditional applications, you'll not have any right extension, right? So the day stops like that. Okay, today is at the very right side of the chart, and that's it. There is nothing into the future. Okay, so that's why you need to go into the chart settings and go to time axis and expand area and add some 50 periods to it. Okay, so then you'll see the future of it. Okay, so this Ichimoku cloud tells you something about what is going to happen in future, how the stock might trade in future. So this is a powerful study that you could use. Okay, so the way it is formed is if you take this span A, let's go and switch on the span A. This guy, this curve that we're talking about is nothing but a curve plotted into the future. You see the white line that you see here? So that is being plotted into the future. And what exactly it is the midpoint of these two curves. There you see, exactly the midpoint is 26 periods into the future. So already very decent 9-period average, 26-period average, and then future midpoint of those two is plotted into the future. So that's a very, very fair value for it to be above certain price. Okay, and then when you go to the span B, you don't need to know, you don't need to understand anything. But again, You can I'll go into what exactly is important for you, but I wanted to make sure you see how this curve is built. Okay, so the yellow line that you see is called span B, which forms the bottom of the cloud. The cloud is found between span A and span B. Okay, this is also plotted 26 periods into the future, and this is a midpoint of 50 periods, um, low and high. So we had a box for 26 periods. We have a box for 9 periods. Now we are talking about a box for close to 50 periods, and you take the range of it. That is the midpoint of that one. So a lot of approximations happening and projections into the futures are happening, right? So now let me go back. Now that the purpose of these two are understood, just to kind of avoid all the noise, let me go back and switch off that, and we'll just keep the cloud, okay? And this is the cloud, and this is what exactly will be very helpful for you. Okay, so what it is showing is it is showing how the stock might behave in future, 26 periods into the future. So if you do not believe it, so for example, let's take this one. Okay, when the stock started falling, it bounced back at that level, right? And we are talking about this as July 19th, 2021, correct? And this period would have been already, that support level would have been already predicted close to 26 periods ago, okay? Which is this guy. What we're talking about is this is 6/11/21. Remember this chart, right? Let's go to that date. Okay, this is the chart as of 6/11/2021. Okay, so when this chart is plotted here, the Ichimoku cloud was showing there. Okay, so that is the level where the Ichimoku cloud is there. So in future, 26 periods to the future, the stock did a lot of drama. Okay, it did a lot of drama up and down, but finally it pulled back to that level, which was predicted 26 days ago itself, right? And found it as a support. So, okay, so fast forward now, when you go and look at it now, today, okay, I think, yeah. So when it came back, we were able to predict this level when we were here around this period, right? So now when it came back into the future, it acted as support and it bounced hard. Okay, so that is how judiciously technical analysis, the charts or graphs respect the cloud. Okay, next it came to the cloud and bounced, right? So here also it's trying to stay above the cloud here. Okay, so that is the prominence of the cloud. We are looking into the future. It provides a futuristic view on where the stock could be. Okay, so some other examples that I would like to take is say view. Uh, so what is happening here? So it's tries to come to the cloud on a 5 minute chart, and it's grinding along the cloud. If you do not know what the cloud is before, you'll see something like this. And you don't know what exactly it is. Why price kind of is not going higher or lower or something like that, right? But behind that is a cloud that is acting as a support. It's just testing on a 5 minute chart. The cloud here also tested, moved above, tested, moved above. So this is a very, very powerful powerful study, I would say. Okay, not only on the daily chart, but also on weekly chart or daily chart. So okay, so now we actually broke above the cloud. Okay, and let's see how it goes from there. Okay, so last time what happened when it broke above the cloud? It broke above it, it retested it and started moving higher. So this is such a very big move, right? And that will be the significance of breaking above the cloud. So now I will show you that I was not. So this is the slide from the training, right? And this just describes what exactly we plotted. We plotted a midpoint of 9-period average, 26-period average, span A, span B, and lagging span we have not discovered. We have not discussed. I will discuss that shortly. And then the cloud is red when span A is below span B, and cloud is green when span A is above span B. Okay. So what is that other Chiku, right? Chiku is a indicator. So what it does is it's exactly the same as current price, okay? Whatever the current price is, but it is plotted 26 periods backward. Okay, so why it is important is sometimes uh, the current price is affected by what the similar levels 26 periods back. So if you kind of wants to test that scenario, so we can do that. Let's see. So as we were discussing in this one, once it gained above the cloud, it started moving higher, right? So the moment it gained above the cloud, at the same time, the Chiku also broke above the cloud. So this is a very powerful indicator. Not only the price moved above it, the Chiku also moved above the price. Okay, so how Chiku is interacting with the current price and the cloud is important. So what it means is now we are seeing a breakout here, but Chiku is still within the cloud 26 periods back ago, which means there might be still some noise. Okay, and here a lot of time the Chiku comes and it is interacting with its own cloud and forming as a resistance or support here. Like here, it kind of reverse, right? So how to use this strategy? And I will show a lot of examples on how judiciously stocks follow this cloud, but how to use it is the first question, right? Which is of more importance for you. So when is bullish? When a stock is bullish? So bullish is if the price moves above the cloud, okay? And when cloud is green and thick into the future like this, okay? And if you want to add more checks for bullishness, you can say that the short-term conversion line crosses above the long-term slow-moving line, okay? And whenever that happens, that crossover could happen when it is above the cloud and below the cloud also, okay? Depending on where exactly it happens, it might be mildly bullish or strongly bullish. And then lagging span, which is the Chiku that we talk about, also moves above the cloud. So these are the different settings, okay? And exactly vice versa of this is bearishness is if price moves below the cloud, it's bearish. And when the cloud is red and thick in the long term, and then the lagging span moves below the cloud. So those are the different places where you can say the bullishness and check the bullishness and bearishness, okay? Some other kind of thumb rules you could say is price crosses the cloud in the narrowest section. So what does it mean? So for example, when we go to square again, for now, let me switch off the Chico because there are already so many things there. Okay, so it came back to this level once, but the cloud is still thick, right? But now it is trying to cross the cloud in the narrowest section. Remember, this section that you are seeing here where the breakout is happening was formed 26 periods ago itself, okay? So now it's doing a lot of drama and it's choosing the shortest, narrowest section to do the crossover. How does it help you? So here also tries to see, it tries to cross over the narrowest section, right? So you know 26 periods in advance itself when it is moving down the cloud that it might come back and revisit and go beyond the cloud as of June 18th. So when you go and look at that setting, Okay, from here we go back 26 periods. Okay, not that guy. So from here you go back 26 periods. Okay, and we are talking about 513. So square is down on the day, right? It's kind of very low. And let me choose empty, maybe. No, nothing is empty. Okay. So when it is so down and probably forming a double bottom here, correct? This cloud is giving you a clue that if it bounces from here, it might come and cross above the cloud on 618. Okay, on 513 you're trying to get a clue on what's going to happen in the future and when it's going to turn bullish. 618, that is a very, very powerful information, right? I hope you agree that it's a powerful information, right? So let's go and go to 618. That's exactly what happened, right? It just crossed. And what happened after that? Hopefully it kind of rallied quite a bit. Yeah, it crossed, it stayed about that, it's testing about and then broke out higher, right? So the price tends to cross near the narrowest section. Okay, so that is one of the point that I want to make, that which is very powerful technique, right? I would say. Then price tries to move along the cloud. Okay, and what are the different support levels when it comes to the cloud, right? So when the stock starts falling down, so let's take an example of uh, price moving along the cloud. Say this is the daily of PUBM. So what it is, it tries to kind of come to the cloud, and every day it tries to move into the cloud, but it's closest below, right? This is called moving along the cloud. Okay, and no matter how much it tries, a lot of times when it comes and tests the cloud, if the cloud is red and thick, it's very difficult for it to break out. So what it means is when you know that the concept, like the cloud, if it is thick, it's difficult to break out. When it comes to this level, if you are already holding the stock, you can book some, you can come out or you can play to the downside also. Okay, here is very thickest, right? So it's very difficult for it to move across. Okay, here is the thinnest. Now here is the opportunity to do a crossover above the cloud. If it cannot, it moves along down like this, and then probably try here. But if not, it might be a narrow section here somewhere where it moves. Okay, so that's kind of how you study these stuff. Okay, so let's discuss about support. Okay, when a stock is above cloud and it start falling down, the first level of support is the cloud top. So exactly what happened here on this fine day when it was falling so hard, it came directly to the cloud top, and that's where it stopped. Right now, there is a nice bounce today. If we were not having the cloud, how can you justify this stop? Why is it a little bit above that? It's not even double top, right? So without cloud, there is no, it's not there. But actually, technically, what it is doing is it's following that cloud, and slowly and steadily every day it might go here. If it stays strong here, then it can move along the cloud like that. Okay, there may be a lot of scenarios where it could have moved like that. Okay, so here it stayed, and then it moved along the cloud, if you can see multiple times, right? So it's good, like the future is good, it's very green and thick, right? The second level of support, once it loses this top, is the bottom of the cloud. So for example, there might be some scenarios where it lost the top, like here it lost the top. First is support here, but again, it's hold the bottom as support and then bounced back, and it moved along the cloud up, right? So first level of support, second level of support, and if it loses that, then that's it. Okay. So cloud top is first level of support, cloud bottom is second level of support, and then a flat cloud line means a stronger support. That's what happened here, right? Um, what was the stock that we were looking at before? See? Yeah, here. This is not a good example, PUBM. No, it was never about that. So PLNT is a good one. So whenever it can cross above this kind of flat level and stay above it, then it's a very, very strong support. Okay, I think square. Okay. So for example, here it crossed above, right? And how is the cloud top looking? It's very, very flat. This kind of flat means it's a very, very strong support. So every time it comes back above, it kind of bounces there and stays above that one, right? So that is the one point. And then the thicker the cloud is, the stronger the resistance, okay, or support. Okay. So about downward move, right? So it's more or less same. Let's go and look at that one also. So a stock is staying below the cloud and it started coming up. Okay, what are the resistances, right? For example, the one that we looked at, PUBM, it is staying below the cloud, and now the first level of resistance is the cloud itself. As soon as it comes into the cloud, that is a resistance. Okay. If it manages to move above, the second level of resistance is the cloud top. Okay. And then if it crosses, then that turns bullish, right? So let's go and see how it was behaving before. Yeah, it is not even able, it's trying to act as a resistance and trying to test everything, but every time the cloud bottom is acting as a resistance. Okay. It did not even try or attempt to hit the cloud top, which means it shows the how weak the bounce is. Okay. So that is primarily how Ichimoku can help you make these decisions. Okay. So the next part of it would be, yeah, I think that's where it ends. So now, just to kind of whatever you learned, if you can apply, I can look at some of the stocks of your interest, and we can quickly look at. You can type in chat if you can, if you want me to look at some of the charts. Okay, CMG. So what I will do here is I will try to probably split it into two. Okay, where I have the clouds and stuff, and I will remove all the mess, right? We don't want all that mess. Just the Ichimoku part of it. Okay, apply. So now what you're looking at is you are looking at a weekly chart on the left side and a daily chart on the right side. Okay, and let me just decorate it a little bit. Okay, that's where we are looking at, and very quickly that one also. Okay, I'll go up to 5 stocks based on the list. I think I got a lot of this. Look, let's go and quickly look at BA. BA, how it is looking it. On a weekly, it is in the cloud. When it is in the cloud, it's noise. Okay, you better not trade it at all. There is no direction. Okay, on the daily, it's following down the curve and it has hit the bottom. So maybe it starts bouncing back along the cloud like this up. Okay, so probably the bottom is already there. Okay. And then the next one is PSNL. It's following the cloud on a daily, just like that, right? It's kind of exactly tracing it along the cloud, if you can imagine. And if you do not have this one, you don't know why exactly it is doing, right? So the next thing is XOM. It's bullish. It's kind of, the cloud is green and thick into the future, so it's a strong and also very, very thick cloud. And even if it pulls back, probably it pulls back the cloud to 55-ish, and then wholesale support on weekly. What that means is the 55-ish pullback will take it directly here, right? And then it makes a decision if it wants to cross down bearish or bounce back, right? But it will most likely bounce back because by the time it comes to that 55 level, the weekly is so thick, it can't break the weekly. So it will come here and bounce back like that along the curve. So that is the ideal. So what kind of trade that you can make? Maybe you can sell 55 put when it comes back there, right? For a bounce or something like that. Okay. HYLN. Yeah, very, very strongly bearish on weekly and daily also. You don't need to even touch it until unless it bounces back. Okay. Um, Day trading or scalping or swing trading. FCL space LABU space looking weak. LABU looking weak. FCEL. It just crossed above the cloud. Volume was great, but again, the sell volume was also great. But weekly volume looks good. The narrow section was already there, so maybe it now comes along to this one cloud, which is around 14.5. There you can book some profit. Okay, that will take it back to this previous level, 14.5. This level, around this level. Okay, but yeah, on daily it looks decent. It crossed the cloud, and if it comes back to this level, this flat one acts as a strong support. So I'll pick a couple of those. Workhorse trying to recover, and so because you see this kind of edge like it, what happens is if it turns bullish here, it might come all the way here and then fall along the curve on weekly. Okay, Netflix strong above the cloud. It's looking strong. It's actually did a breakout today. Yeah, it's a nice breakout. Good earnings. Until unless it's, yeah, it might continue higher. That's a good breakout on good volume on weekly and daily also. Let's see. Okay, I think I'll stop there. Um, yeah, some people were Roku. It's actually being resisted by the cloud. See how thick it is. So if you bought some stocks here, this is a good place for you to exit. Okay, and if you think you want to play to the upside, the weekly is within the cloud. So until unless it breaks above this cloud, there is no direction. It's just a noise, sideways consolidation. But looks like, it cloud is saying that it might pull back down here, and around November 19th it might start recovering higher because the cloud is stick. It's very difficult until unless there is earnings for it to break out. Maybe it comes here to the earnings and then gaps up above 400. That is the only way I could see. Okay. Dada. What is Dada? Yeah, it's kind of above the cloud. Once it crosses above the cloud, it might just go sideways and stay above it, or it might rally. Decent volume, but weekly sell volume was so high coming out of the W bottom, and if it starts rallying, probably it might go to that 30 level and then do some consolidation. But overall, daily is red and weekly is also red, the future. So I would not play full long on it. Okay. So just to summarize, what we studied was we studied a cloud. We studied how important it is to have understanding of at least some very useful studies like this one. And we also discussed how the cloud acts as support, what is the first point of support, what is the second point of support, and how to stay away from a wrong entry, right? If it is deep red, probably stay away from it. And if it is bouncing back, now you know the resistance where it's kind of go and fall back, right? So this is kind of useful information that will be helpful. Someone was asking me day trading and swing trading. So those are some things that we discuss in depth. I mean, this session, it probably is out of scope of this session, but I can show you, like, in the time frames for each type of trading. In this is the first session, I'll be discussing those that kind of information and stuff. Okay, so just to summarize, I wanted to give a value addition to you by this session, and that's why I discussed Ichimoku. It's a very powerful tool, and if you want to add one more, you can also add in addition to this two, you can add a third or fourth, and probably have hourly here, daily here, and hourly, 15 minutes, or monthly. You can do whatever you want, so that you just by glimpsing it uh, on a specific stock, you can see how the long-term chart looks like, and that's called a multi-time frame analysis, which we cover here and stuff. Okay, um, just a word of like if you feel this is interesting, and if you are interested in learning all these indicators and start trading more educated way, like not shooting in the blind, right? So then this will be very good for you to kind of learn. And this is going to be 16 hours of training, 4 weekends, and I think we will be starting one on November 6th onwards. Okay, so the entire weekends of the November month that will be there. And in addition to that, at the same level of granularity, if people are interested into learning options, there are 3 option courses, and where again very in-depth deep dive of all the fundamentals and some strategies, different kinds of strategies, and advanced strategies, which include selling premium and hedging stocks and long-term options and options flow analysis, all this kind of stuff. We will be having that one also. So the way it works is on Saturdays, I think 9 to 12 will be stocks trading. On Sundays, it'll be options training. If you are interested, I think Kishore will have some information for you shortly once the links to subscribe are up and running. But I think this will be very, very useful to you if you have not been making profits and are running into continuous losses. It'll be very useful information, especially if you have been trading a lot and spending some time, and you have thousands of dollars in the market. It's better to have some education to back up your things. And just the first session itself will provide you a lot of inputs which you can deploy immediately after the session. So yeah, this is a great opportunity, and this is the value addition that we wanted to provide to the Right Choice members community. Kishore, would you like to add anything?
Thanks, Uday. Thanks for explaining about Ichimoku Cloud strategy. And yeah, a few members were asking about RSI and other strategies because it's already 8:45. We'll be doing RSI in one of the future sessions. And also, right, few members are asking if these studies can they do they need to have Thinkorswim, or can they do it on other brokerage platforms? Do you have any idea, Uday, on that? Are you talking, Uday?
Oh yeah, so sorry about that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I was on mute. So I was saying, when you go to Yahoo Finance and when you specify a symbol, when you go to full chart mode, it enables you to add a lot of indicators there, and there should be this indicator called Ichimoku Clouds, and similar kind of setup there, and there is the cloud. So when you go to a daily chart, you see that the breakout happened. Yeah, Yahoo Finance, Webull, TradingView, all those have this indicator, and it's very, very commonly used also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be publishing the schedule, right? We'll be starting it in November first week for both technical analysis and options. TA will be on Saturdays and options will be on Sundays. And yeah, it will be 4 weekends. Uh, yeah, that's it. Again, take time to, right, because one strategy itself can help us to take better decisions, right? You saw like how moving averages can help us. Today we saw that how Ichimoku cloud strategy can help us. So definitely, right? That's worth worth taking time to learn these things before investing our hard-earned money. So yeah, with that, thanks everyone for joining, and uh, we'll uh, uh, we'll be doing more sessions like this, maybe monthly ones. We'll be doing some different strategies. We'll be doing on some scanners, on some option strategies. But if you want a sequential on 4 straight weekends end to end, then yeah, you can join the sessions and you can learn where you get all the material and the scanners, everything.
Yeah, sometimes blocking the time and making sure you sit and listen, that itself is a major achievement, because a lot of people might be thinking of learning it, but they never find time for it, doing it. So yeah, if you are free in November, I think it will be a very good opportunity. We have been conducting every 2 months so far. So if you miss that, probably there will be some other session in future months also.
Many are asking about the fee. It is like $219 for technical analysis, entire 4 weekends, or same thing for options also. 219, yeah, which is very reasonable. The same course, right? Others charge around $1,000 for all these various modules, various strategies. Yeah. There is one question, Uday. Can we always assume that? Uh,
Whenever the cloud shown in the future prediction price, can I buy option for that period at that price? Yes. So if the cloud is green and thick, so that shows that even if the price pulls back to that level, it might act as a support. So you might buy a long call based on that strike, or you can actually sell a put saying that it will not go below that. So in options, a lot of times people make quick money by buying options, but the better strategy, if you have enough margin in your account, would be selling option spreads, which have three ways of making you money. If the stock goes higher or sideways action or even mild pullback also, in any of those three possibilities, you'll make money when you sell options. So we'll be taking a deep dive on all those things in our options training also. If you are into options, if you have been actively trading it and at least putting some thousands of dollars, then it's better for you to steady learn things and do it right way and make money. Yeah.
and yeah, at the end of each session, there will be 1 to 1.5 hour Q&A session also, where you can ask all your questions, where Uday will explain you, right, clarify all your doubts. So generally, session will be from 9 to 12, and 12 to 1, 12 to 1:30. Uday will take all the questions. I think that's all. Uh, yeah, if you miss any session, you can attend in the next batch. You can attend that session again. Pooled investment, I don't want to discuss on that now. We already have more than expected. We have more than 500 plus subscribers. Yeah, I think that's it. We covered all the questions. So thanks everyone. Have a nice rest of the evening, and we'll talk again in the future sessions.
Thank you everyone for joining and taking time. Yeah, stay green.
Thanks, Uday. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.